Hey, what's going on, family? Sorry it took me a little bit more time to get this video out to you. I just wanted to make sure I was taking my time and getting it done the right way. Appreciate your patience. Appreciate y'all rocking with me. We're gonna do our best to keep getting this content, put together and get it out for you all. Peace and love to everybody, and thank you again. As I previously mentioned, I wanted to give more detail on what has led my family and I on this journey. I must admit that I wasn't completely on board with, leaving everything that we know is normal. But this decision, my wife and I took a lot of prayer, fasting, to kind of come together and really put our trust on our Heavenly Father that He's got us, right? That He'll take care of us and He'll keep us on the path that we need to be on. Let me be clear. As a husband, as a father, I recognize a lot of these tasks fully. I have a level of responsibility. These things I don't take lightly. Definitely a challenge. When you think about selling all the things you have, going from a house to an apartment, um, it's just a matter of months these things happening. And then before you know it, you're on a plane with 2 bags and a suitcase. Well, 2 suitcases and a backpack per person, but so my wife and I, through all these things that are occurring, we had some really personal moments, some moments of uncovering items that are buried away, and now we're uncovering these things to sort through them, if you will. So a continuous question that we're having to ask ourselves is, do we keep this? Do we keep that? How do we manage? Um, um, this does these things, if we get rid of them, do they take away the memory? No, it doesn't. Um, our oldest daughter, had a few moments that we really needed to step away from what we got going on to be there with her. Let me tell you, that weight limits are a real thing. Um, I think I was very naive to weight limits until going through this process. But it taught me a lot. It taught us all a lot. I remember weighing one of my bags, and it was 110 pounds approximately. And I'm like, yikes, this isn't gonna cut it. So, I had to take a moment, kind of collect myself, kind of understand, you know, um, what is it out of this bag, out of this suitcase, excuse me, that I can get rid of. So I go through it, then I get to a point, this is lighter, I'm proud of myself, I got rid of some things. Now I weigh it again, and it's at 73, roughly pounds. And so, then I'm sad, I'm upset, I'm confused. Is this scale broken? Is this thing not working? So, I really had to continue to have these moments of, is this something I need? Do I have to have this item? How do I navigate this situation? So um, then I go and relook at the weight limits again, just to, continuously looking at the weight limits. So I pull up, Qatar Head Airlines and look at the weight limits. 50 pounds, 23 kilograms was, for your suitcases. But then, my wife and I went over the overweight limits, right? So you have 70 pounds for, something's considered overweight, which is 32 kilograms. So it was like, okay, so we, identify how many bags are we willing to pay to be overweight, right? So, we kind of navigated what we're going to do pertaining to that, and that's where we are. Ultimately, we ended up with 12 suitcases, if I'm getting that right, and then 1 piano. So that was that. So, finally get everything in order. We donate everything that we're donating, and we delayed our flight 2 days because we just wasn't ready. So now we're ready to go. So here's the day, everything's cleared out, packed luggage, everything ready to go. And so the day, around the time that the driver should be there, the driver's running late. So, we're anxious, waves of emotion, all those things are occurring. So the driver arrives. We're trying to hurry up and get everything loaded into the van so we can get to the airport. We're exhausted from the last couple of days of little sleep, other things. The ride to the airport is very emotional. I think it's one thing to be leaving, the city that you grew up in to go, you're moving to go to school, right? Or you're moving to another state, to study or whatever your thing is, a job or whatever situation. It's different when you're leaving the country, not on vacation, not to go visit someone. You're leaving, and your intent is not completely certain. You're certain that you're leaving. You have your reasons for leaving. We have our reasons for leaving, but we're praying and hoping that this is going to be something that we can do for an extended period of time. Driving by the things that we know, we're on 288. We're passing by, the Astrodome, right? We're passing by, the medical centers over here, McGregor Park's over there. Pass by downtown, seeing the skyline, seeing, how much have changed over the years of growing up. So we get all those things out the way, right? We finally get to Intercontinental. We get our things unloaded. They have people there to help you, or make a little quick cash, right, for helping you, and that's there. So here we are. We're in the line, getting ready to go check in. That's a process with them. And he immediately asks for our carry-on luggage. So I'm looking again like, what is this, for? He's like, we gotta weigh it. Completely over my head, right? And it's because I remember we probably at some point paid attention to our carry-on luggage, but it wasn't like a top of mind thing, or maybe in the stress of getting ourselves to the airport, it was just off of my radar. So we weighed our, a few of our carry-on luggage, and a few things were overweight. So he's like, next, and so he weighed one of our suitcases. It was overweight. Now, keep in mind, we have a hand weight scale. So it's basically you strap it to the luggage, you pick it up, you hold it still, and it'll weigh your luggage. So pretty accurate, but not like the most accurate thing in comparison to something you would sit your luggage on. I can't remember if he weighed another piece of luggage, but he was pretty much like, you're gonna have to get this taken care of. So we said, okay, no big deal. We got our few things that were unpacked together. They have a weigh station in the airport, not far from the desk. So we went over, and so now we have not a lot of time. My rule of thumb now, having some of these experiences, is that give yourself a little grace with your luggage, right? Give yourself at least 2-3 pounds of grace just in case, right? Your home scale may not be as accurate as the one in the airport. The attendant may not be as, may not give you grace either. So my wife and I are getting our luggages down so that we can, put them on the scale, weigh them, go through them, and, decide what we're keeping, what we're not keeping. Because we wasn't over just by a little bit. We're over maybe like 5-6 pounds, in varying bags. We still knew that we were going to pay for a few bags, but we're not, we're not rich, so we're not sitting here going to pay for all of our bags to be overweight. So here we are. We're going through things. I'm in full prayer mode because the stress that I got rid of on our way to the airport, it's all crashing down on me at that point. So I'm sweating. I'm like, how can we make this work? And how can we not lose our minds in the midst of this? Most important thing, we know we're getting on this flight. I hear my wife saying this, we're getting on this flight. I'm sure I can feel my daughter and children, saying a similar thing to themselves, like, how are we gonna make this work, So here we are. Go through our things, we throw away, or leave many things at the waste station, and so we're back in line. Now, maybe the line was long before, but it's even longer now, with people, checking in for their flights. So, here we are. We're, counting down, because we know we have a certain amount of time that we got to get checked in, because we still got to go through security. And so, we're back in line to go, check in again. So we're back in line. We finally get to the counter. The gentleman that was helping us before, he was tied up with another guest, thank God. So now there was another young lady that was available. So she, had us come over. She looked at her thing. She took a deep breath, and she was like, asked for the carry-on luggage again. We gave her that. We're good. She, said, okay. So we started bringing her suitcases. A few of them was somehow still overweight. Maybe 1 pound, 2 pounds, something such as that. But she immediately, collected herself. But she got us through. She recognized that there was, that was there, but I think we even heard her say, we got to get these folks on this flight. And there's nobody, no one else made that work for us but our Father, our Heavenly Father. No one else. So, she helped us get through. We paid what we needed to pay for. Our extra suitcase, the extra luggage, which was the piano, our overweight luggage, we paid for those things, and we're on our way. Security check, we get through security check, baby in hand, and we get through security check. We're running to our gate, right? So now we get to our gate, and probably everybody that was in that line getting checked in is there. So everybody, I guess, was on this flight. So it's crowded. And plus there's construction in the airport as well, so the area is a lot more compressed. So we're standing there waiting. I look down at our boarding passes, just, trying to take my mind off of things, and I realize all of our seats are different. No one's sitting next to each other how I selected when I first, booked the flights. So I show my wife, she's like, well, take it over to the desk. Okay, I walk over to the desk, I show it to the attendant at the desk, and she immediately knew, Houston, we have a problem. So she, partnered with her people, with her co-workers. They, discussed what they needed to, started typing on their computer to get it resolved for us. And then she was able to reprint us our boarding passes with everyone sitting next to one another as we originally, selected to have. So, great. So here we are. Now they're starting to get people boarded because we have, little smaller children. We're able to kind of pre-board, if you will. So, we're on our way down the deal. So, let me say this. Let me give a little bit of additional thoughts. I'll not be the one to say that, moving out of the country, moving to Africa, if you will, is for everybody. I'll not be the one to say that. It's a very personal decision that that I would suggest. And I'm sure my wife will say the same, is your relationship with your family, with with our Heavenly Father, God. I think those things is the things that you have to rely on to decide if something such as this is for you. For myself, it took, as I mentioned earlier, it took many things to get to this point. But I'll say I lived in many different areas. I lived in parts of Houston. I've lived in New York City. I've lived in the Baltimore area. I've visited countless cities around the country. I've driven, flown, many different experiences. Many things have led me to agree and be on board with this journey. Many experiences of that I didn't realize exactly what was going on. You know, I've been detained, I've been arrested, many different things. I've been pulled over. I mean, countless things in my life thus far that I've experienced that, you know, that's led me to these things, that led me to really trust in God, to give myself and my family, my children, experiences beyond what I've had to go through, right? And I think those things are what's really important. So I'll kind of end on that. But before I get going, I would like to say peace and blessings to everyone, to our family, our loved ones, and God willing, we'll share some more of our experiences in the future.